All right, people, I got a reaction for you guys today. I want to watch this video from Nick RTFM. One knows Nick, he's been one of the long-standing members of the SC community, the people community. He's a guy who I don't watch a lot of when it comes to like his Twitch streams, even his YouTube, but I do like when it's like late night and I just want to watch some like FC gameplay and see someone who actually plays real football. I will pull up some of his like his second channel's gameplay, just like watch actual football, watch. When I say actual people who aren't like just doing ratty bullshit and making excuses for to do ratty bullshit or playing the 4-2-1-3. He's one of the people who avoids that formation. He's also someone who's very minded about how he builds his team. So I respect how Nick plays the game and how he does his team building. So he has a video today, and as always, the video will be sped up, and there may be pieces of the video that are edited out. So if you want to see the video in its full entirety and without being sped up, go to the original video, watch it, leave a like and things like that. It will be the first link in the description box below. So do all those good things. Show Nick some love, show Nick some respect. But yeah, let's watch this and about it. As I always say when it comes to me reaction videos, it's just a response. This is not really a reaction, it's a video response. I don't want to leave a 2-paragraph long comment in his comment section. So if there's anything I'm feeling about this video, I want to just be able to like hear him say it and then reply, hear him say it then reply, and go from there. So let's get into this. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a good day or a good night, because it's actually like late now. It's like 8:30 at night, but let's get into this video.
Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. It's the middle of July. It's crazy. This year is flying. I can't believe it. And I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and official FC26 reveal is this upcoming Wednesday. Literally in 4 days, we're gonna get a trailer. We're gonna get information on FC26. I think it's safe to say that EA really screwed up this year, man, because they ruined so much of the FC25 hype with a game that was out in the first 4 months. It was just so unbearably bad because of the amount of defensive AI, because of the slowness of the game, because of just everything. The gameplay was the worst we've ever had in the first 4 months of a game. EA have somewhat salvaged it as the year went on with the Team of the Year promo. This is not a year in review of the whole year. This is more of a video that I want you guys to let me know your thoughts, but it's something that as a content creator of this game, someone that covers this game, I still play it a lot, I want to discuss my feelings towards something that I would like EA to really investigate for FC26, okay? And I'm going to try to explain it in a way that you guys can all understand it, and that the EA employees, who we know at this point, the EA employees watch these videos. We see them make a lot of changes quite quickly. We've seen it with weekend league extensions. We've seen it with menu fixes, with weekend league reward fixes. We've seen it, all right? The EA employees seem to definitely take the feedback recently well. I don't know if they've had a change of staff. They do seem to listen more than they ever did, and that's why now I make these videos. For a while, I stopped making these videos because I felt like EA wasn't really doing anything.
I think part of why EA is starting to listen more, and people will say it's because they're losing money. They've lost a little bit of money, but when it comes to like the actual grand scheme of like their actual like monetization for the year, EA is making a lot of profit. Their stocks are up. They might, like, when it comes to like the month to month, there might be some months where things are lower for like some games. A lot of it's because of like the failure of like Dragon Age Veilguard, not because of FC and Madden, but there are other games that are like kind of pulling things down. But for the most part, in the long scheme, their stocks are up and they're making a shit ton of freaking cash. I do think when it comes to like them deciding to like kind of listen to the community a little bit, is I do think they're kind of hearing the footsteps. When I say hearing the footsteps, this is the kind of a thing we say in like football and even in like basketball as well, where hearing the footsteps is like, so let's say you're a wide receiver, or even we'll just use soccer, world football. When you're let's say you got the ball and you're about to go one-on-one with the keeper, there's no one near you. All you just have to just run up there and take a shot, but you whiff because you thought you heard someone run behind you to make a tackle. That's what it means when they say you hear the footsteps. So you kind of fuck up because, or you make a change because you think someone's behind you. In this kind of context, EA is hearing the footsteps of other companies. They're hearing that 2K is making the studio. They're hearing 2K is getting ready to make a football game. They're hearing 2K is 2K that. They're hearing, how much people are interested in rematch. And I don't think they care as much about rematch as they care about 2K. But generally, when you start hearing the rumbles of like other studios who can't compete with you, because 2K can compete. UFL can't compete, rematch can't compete, but 2K can compete, and EA knows they can, which is why we haven't had a basketball game in forever, because EA understood they just couldn't compete with 2K's basketball. The reason why they locked down a Madden license because they couldn't compete with freaking the NBA, the NFL 2K games. What was called the ESPN 2K games. But generally, I'm trying to say is that EA, they now are like, okay, maybe we should be a little bit more ear to the ground, the community, because if we don't get our ships and our ducks in order, we can end up losing a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's what they care about. And they probably also see some things in their numbers that show like, okay, people aren't buying this as much as they did last year, or not buying this as much as they did 6 months ago, and that's making them consider certain things.
Thing with what we were all putting out. We used to do podcasts with Inception. We used to do all these things. We're talking 5 years ago. Now I feel like they somewhat listen. But this one is going to be the toughest ask of them all, all right? Because this is a video for the gameplay team, and I want you guys to let me know. Now, look, the first part we can get into here, guys. There's two layers to this video. I'm going to overline and outline the first part. This is specifically to the gameplay team. FC26, you guys can make whatever trailer, all these changes you want. What I will say about FC25, even after the patch you guys made, the console experience on this game is unplayable. You guys really need to investigate what you did, I would say specifically this year and last year, that has made the console experience so much more unplayable than all the FIFAs. Because for a while, we've had this narrative that new gen ruined.
It's not just that console gameplay is unbearable. It's also that PC gameplay is so much better than console gameplay, to where you actually end up having an unbalanced and unfair playing environment for console players when they get matched up against PC players. PC players have faster gameplay, have better response time. Everything for the PC player is just better than a console player. So if you're on console and you match up against a PC player, you might think they're cheating when they're not, because of just how much faster their players move, how slow your reactions are, and things like that. You're just like, bruh, it seems like I'm playing against someone, you know, who is literally moving, you know, 10 seconds ahead of everything else going on in the game, and you just don't know what's going on, because it's the PC. The PC gameplay is just that much more smooth, much more responsive, and not as bogged down as a console gameplay. So if you watch people, you know, who are on console playing on PC, you immediately notice that the gameplay definitely is not the same. You know, even the person on console might somehow pull out the win. You know, it's still, you still will notice that the PC player definitely had the advantage there. It just didn't pull out the win. So I'm not saying that it guarantees you a win being on PC, but there is an advantage to playing on PC when it comes to playing against a console player. At the same time, when it comes to just console gameplay in general, this is a situation where, you know, any given gameplay is going to dictate who wins. You know, nowadays in FC, you're not winning or losing because of, you know, someone's being better than the other person. You're winning based on who got better gameplay. You know, who's able to make that pass, who make that tackle, and what dictates who makes the tackle, makes that pass. It's just the gameplay. You know, who's slower than the other person when it comes to their responsiveness, who's slower than the other person when it comes to their ping and things like that. Like the game, if you ever played the game at a high ping, if you are someone who used to like low ping, you're sitting there like, yo, what is this game? Now it's like Zoe Bagel, for example. So Zoe usually has like 4 ping. Whenever he plays on like 35 or higher ping, he's like a lost fucking duck. He has no idea what's going on. His players can't move, and he's just like having the worst time of his life. Which is funny because the average FC player actually only plays to like 35 and 40, you know, or higher ping. So that's how most people are playing the game, and it's just a nightmare situation.
Please investigate the delay. You know, I went to PC, and the gameplay is 10 times better on PC than it is console. I say this so many times in these videos. Again, this is not necessarily a rant video. This is just to talk to the gameplay team. Please figure out what you have added specifically this year, and maybe even last year, but mainly this year, that has made the game so much worse. Because I don't even think this year had that many more animations than last year. And last year's game didn't have this level we have this year of delay on console. It's unplayable. I haven't played console consistently since, I don't even know. I really haven't played much. You can see by my team. And the only reason I'm recording on this account is just because it was the one I had connected in the HDMI. I have not played much on this account. It's really hard to play console because it's so input delayed. Now, the main event, and this is the thing that I want to present to everybody, because this is what I think has been really hurting FIFA, especially at the start, and it's something that I want EA to look into, okay? Specifically tiki-taka, and specifically good finishing traits. So the movement is good and the finishing is now good. That is the main thing I've had in a lot of my teams. Where I'm going with this is this. The game in the beginning of the year, not only was it extremely clunky and extremely unplayable, the problem with the beginning of the year now is that when you're making starter teams, every card feels so bad. Every card feels so bad in the beginning because none of these cards have rolls. You look at a guy like Timo Werner, he doesn't have rolls. And EA explained last year, if you don't have roll plus plus, you're not getting a 20% boost in FCIQ. If you have roll plus, you get 5 or...
You know, we're having this discussion in my Discord about like our early teams, and one of the people in Discord talk about like how, you know, because a lot of us use in Discord use women's teams, and you know, y'all don't see the videos of it anymore because, you know, all I care about is just doing like reviews nowadays. But you know, I still use my women's team off camera, you know, almost every time I freaking play FC. But at the beginning of the year, you know, like I was using, you know, all women's gold teams, things like that. And one of the people on the Discord was talking about like how, you know, how much worse and harder it is for like building a women's team than a men's team. And it's like, that is a placebo. I want to say like a placebo. So I don't like the right word to use, but it's not true, you know, in a sense that it's hard to use any players at the beginning of the year. You know, it's not gender related. It's just the game itself is just harder to use players. You know, you don't really start getting like crazy players unless you got like the pre-order icons or the pre-order freaking heroes for this year at least. Or like you're doing like those early freaking SBCs, like you had like that one Holland, that one who was it? Was it Davies? I don't think it was Davies. I think it was Alaba. I think it was David Alaba. I think he had like the foundations cards. Like, you know, you had to like have like those kind of cards to like, you know, to like feel like the game wasn't like bogged down terrible when it comes to like just player movement. You know, it's not based on gender. Like there was, whether you play with men or women players, if you're using someone like freaking Timo Werner, you know, like, yeah, he has all that pace, but his accelerator type can make him slower than his actual pace is. And at the same time, he has a low physical, so he can get bullied pretty easily. He has low shooting, so it's like at the same time, like, so you see what I'm trying to say here? Like, it's not like, you know, one gender or the other had harder cards to use. And at the same time, you have the role system where it's like, okay, well, even though I can play Timo Werner at striker, I can only use him at false 9 effectively. You know, like roles aren't the biggest thing in the world when it comes to like the pluses. You kind of just want at least one plus. But at the beginning of the year, a lot of people aren't using false 9, so you were pretty much just stuck using him in a left mid situation because he also didn't have a plus for left wing. And at the same time, beginning of the year, for like the first few months, it seemed like left winger didn't work properly. Like it seemed like it didn't track back. So people were avoiding playing any formations that had left wing.
10%. If you don't, you got nothing. You basically run at the 80% level as a player would make runs. So the game is terrible now at the start because EA have made it a necessity where in the past FIFAs, when you go in the pre-roll era, which is FC24 and below, you can plug a person in your team and play them, even with the playstyles being pretty OP if you had good ones. If you don't have any, it sucks, right? They still will move well. So roles, in my opinion, EA, what I'm telling you is this. You guys need to make the base roles. I'm not saying you give Timo all these roles because obviously now you're basically making money off of every user who wants to now upgrade their team throughout the year and look at, hey, I need a role plus plus or a role plus. I'm going to spend for this promo card. I need this playstyle plus. You know, the problem for me now is EA, for a person that wants to play football, for a person that wants to play normal, they've made the game almost impossible for like 8 months of the year because you have to wait until team of the season to have cards that have the necessary playstyles to play football in this game. So I'm going to explain to you where I'm going with this. For example, I can't, if I'm someone that wants to play fast and pass the ball fast and left stick dribble and finish well, I need to wait until like April now in the cycle to get cards that have tiki-taka, paint pass, finesse, driven, all my attackers. I need those 4 and maybe like a press proven. When you start in the beginning of the year, you look at a card like Timo Werner, all he has is obviously 2 base play styles, which is pace for a striker, and then he's got no roles in good positions. So the guy doesn't make good runs, right? And he's like a starter card. This is an OP starter card that back in the day, a Timo Werner, a Ben Yedder, you plug it in to the start and you're cooking in the beginning. Well, right? For 3 play styles, 5-star weak foot, finesse shot plus, rapid and quick step, no passing traits. So everyone's passing in the beginning is garbage, but he has advanced 4++, so he makes good runs, better than normal runs. Here's what I'm saying to EA, right? And let's look at Isak as well. He has the plus, so he has better runs, still not great, right? And then he's got finesse base, rapid. He's got some more playstyles, first touch plus, right? A base finesse, no passing, and then a couple pace ones. This is all very confusing, but what I'm saying to EA is this, okay? For me, this FC specifically, obviously the AI defending we had in the beginning was atrocious. But what also didn't help was that we didn't have cards like we have during Team of the Season that can really help you bypass that, right? Really, right? You look at like, that Maradona that I was showing you guys, or this Neres, right? This Neres has tiki-taka plus, so he makes 20% above average runs. He's got a base finesse shot, so his finesse is going to be better, which is a clinical shot. On my other account, I've got cards with low driven, finesse, pinged pass, tiki-taka, and then both the quick step and rapid and tech. And you're watching me yesterday, if you watch my second channel gameplay video, I'm absolutely cooking people, bro. Because I can play football, I can play fast, I can play at a high skill that people can't defend me. Whereas now I'm looking at FC26 and I'm saying, to me, the start of new FIFAs is going to be less exciting if EA is going to make all of these cards so bad. So I hope the gameplay is better at the start. But what I'm also talking to and getting to and rambling about here in this video is that I hope EA, if you're listening to this, can you guys please just boost the attacking AI for the general players in this game? Because for me, even with the cards that now my whole team has advanced 4++, or everyone has the roll plus.
I think one of the worst things about attacking AI in this game is their inability to understand offsides. You will be in situations where you're looking at like one of your attacking players be offsides, and you're just like, bro, get back on side. What are you doing? Like, you didn't pass the ball yet. Like, you're seeing them make a run. You didn't even freaking set them to run it. Like, their AI is doing a good thing about going on by itself, but they go ahead of it. And when they go off sides, they kind of like just stand around a little bit, or they get stuck on the defending player and they can't like really get around the defending player because the defending player is auto freaking like doing a screen on them. So like, it's like, can you make this AI smarter so where they can actually move? And if they can't actually move, then it should result in the defending player doing a foul because you can't just hold someone from like moving. So like it just need to be smarter. Like there's situations where like I would see, even in like my recent video, the last gameplay video that I posted, I don't know if I left it in the video or not, but like during some of those games I was playing, there was times when my forward would make runs and then just keep going. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You know, like you don't need to go offside. Like, and I feel like there was a point in time during the year, so it was the Team of the Year update where they actually fixed how often players would just go offside and how they would get, how quickly they'll get back on side. And it was one of the best things they did to the game as well. And for like that period of time during Team of the Year, all of your attackers were doing amazing at getting back on side when they make an offside run. And then out of nowhere, it seemed like that patch just went away. I'm not saying it was a shadow patching like that, but it just seemed like either like EA toned that down. Like they just removed the whatever they did to the AI that made it to where they didn't, you know, make these offside runs and then, you know, be slow to get onside, you know. But I think in that aspect, they need to do better when it comes to AI. Just make them smarter when it comes to going on offsides and things like that. And it doesn't help that, you know, the offside trap spamming is such a prevalent thing in this game. So like that's going to like push the AI offsides more than actually would be because people are spamming the offside trap. Even to this point, like they've nerfed auto offside traps, but you can still do auto offside traps. It's just not as prevalent as was, you know, during Team of the Year and Team of the Season. You know, pretty much before like I think it was during Team of the Season when they actually had that change to the game. But I agree that just in general they need to buff not just the attacking AI, but the midfield AI. You know, defending AI is in a good spot for the most part. I think marking needs to be better when it comes to defenders. I feel like defenders, as strong as they are, their marking isn't great. Like, which is why cutbacks are so strong. Cutbacks are only strong in this game because the marking by the defenders isn't great. It doesn't even matter who it is. Like, you can have the most meta defender and their marking can be shit. You know, like I have one with that 6'9" Priori card, and his marking is ass. You know, and I'm like looking at him like, wow, why is this bro standing so far away from freaking the attacker? Like, luckily a goal wasn't given up, but like there's so much space right there. I was like, bruh, you know, I kind of got lucky there. But like again, going with cutbacks, every cutback you ever see someone score or you concede and or even you score if you're someone who plays with cutbacks like little rat bitch, you know, it happens because of just bad marking. You know, those goals shouldn't be so common. The keeper should be able to like stop those first and foremost, but also the marking by the defender should be better to avoid that. These are world class defenders. They wouldn't just allow some shitty goal like that to just happen. You know, even IRL, those are not like you will see cutbacks here and there, but they're not a common thing where you just can do it 4 times in a game. And like if that was happening, those players are getting freaking transferred. So just in general, like there's certain things for the AI that needs to be boosted.
In the position, right? This team is really outdated, so you know that's not showing the full story. But like all my cards are really outdated. I think Rogers has no. So even during team of the season, this account is not a good example. But like you can see that, you know, Cam, Shadow Striker plus plus, Zidane has all those roll plus pluses. For me, this game, the attacking AI is not anything incredible, even with the roll plus plus, but it's at least baseline. So what I'm telling EA is this: I wish you guys would make more of the baseline AI in this game with the rolls. I know you're not going to get rid of the rolls. Can you guys make it closer to plus plus, and then you make plus insane, and then plus plus is like unthinkable. Like we're seeing Maradona make these crazy like diagonal peel off runs like that you just never think of, like stuff you would be doing with players.
Like his idea, which is not a bad idea, it's just an overall just boost. Like make having no roll better, having a plus better, having plus plus better. And if EA feels like that can be a balancing issue, then you can make plus plus even more rare in a way. Like obviously you'll still start seeing them more and more and more when you get to like the, you know, the post Team of the Year promos. But if you want to, you can't just like bust. You can't just buff everything and then not have a balance. So you do kind of how to balance that out by not making it as common. So if just not having the plus is at least tolerable, then having a plus is you know, very good. Having a plus plus is like amazing. You do want to balance out by like not everyone being able to have the plus pluses early.
They will work towards, because I'm a realistic guy. I know EA's not going to get rid of roles, guys. I know, because they're not going to introduce something in the first year and then scrap it, because that makes them look bad as a video game company. They introduce a new feature and they get rid of it already. But I'm just saying, for everyone's fun at the beginning, yes, EA can make the gameplay faster, more responsive. The problem is if we can't put these gold cards in and even play any style, because I found myself in the beginning of this year's game having so much trouble even like stringing together like 4 passes. The passing was terrible because not one player has passing playstyles that are relevant, which would be incisive, pinged, or tiki-taka. And then the finishing is god awful because no one has finishing traits. Like this year, if you don't have a net shot or low driven, you're cooked. You can't score the ball. The keepers are insane. Like try shooting a normal shot without those two. It's very unlikely we'll go in. You probably need 99 shooting. So I'm just saying to the EA employees, you know, we used to have traits back in the day, and traits did not rule what you needed to have. You could still plug a player in and you're good. You don't have the role, and you got these traits like, you know, someone has finesse shot trait. It's not a necessity to score finesses, but it's cool. It now feels like these playstyles are necessities, and roles are super necessities. Like if you don't have Roll++, your player sucks. So I'm just asking EA, I guess the point of this video is as we head towards FC26, as the reveal is next week, we'll probably learn some stuff about gameplay. But if the gameplay devs see this, and you guys in the comments, you guys let me know, I feel like a lot of the joy with these, specifically the start of this FIFA, the gameplay sucked, so we don't really know the experience. But it's the fact that the baseline players, even below the traits and the playstyles and below the roles, the baseline for the non-plus and the non-silver playstyles sucks. Like, it doesn't even matter what stats they have. They don't move well. They feel stiff. And I found myself in the beginning of this year's game, specifically with FC25, just running down the line a lot, like, because I couldn't even pass the ball. And now everybody's, like, watching my gameplay this year, and they're like, man, wow, you're playing really well. And I'm like, did you not watch me the last 8-9 years? This is what I've done. I pass the ball, I left stick, I play with pace, I play really attacking. This is how I've always played. I haven't been able to play this way, and I'm sure a lot of you guys in the comments are going to say the same thing, that you haven't been able to play at a certain speed until Team of the Season, and then it feels like an entirely different game. And it's not necessarily just a patch they made in January, which that should have been the gameplay the whole year at least, at a bare minimum. I can't believe it took them until January to patch the horrendous AI we had in the beginning. So from a gameplay side of things, from an enjoyment side of things, I hope that EA will look into just making the baseline mechanics for stats better, because that's what a lot of people used to like with FIFA. You pack a card, you look at the stats, and you're like excited. You don't pack a card and then look at the playstyles and be like, damn, I can't use him. Like, what happens if you pack Isak at the beginning of next year, and let's say he has no playstyles and he has 0 roles? You're going to be excited that you got Isak because he sells for a lot, but you're not going to be super hyped because you're like, man, he's probably going to end up playing really stiff, and I'm not going to be able to connect passes with him. It's just kind of a nightmare, and it's so interesting because the way EA have it formatted right now, even if Isak had, let's say, 88 passing, let's just say that for the sake of the argument, and let's say 99 attack positioning, okay? That would have been, like, insane back in the day. You'd have been like, okay, this guy's the best striker, but if he doesn't have tiki-taka, silver, or at least advanced forward plus, he's not going to move well, even with 99 attack positioning. So you see what I'm saying? That's where EA have kind of ruined the whole purpose of stats. And I understand, EA, get your bag. You know, I know you guys got to make your money. You're trying this progression thing where, you know, everyone has to sit there and work towards Roll++, and everyone wants to work towards Finesse+. But you guys need to make the baseline for the normal player better. You know, it can't be a necessity to need these things to play the game. It's a shame that FC25 has taken 9 months to play the game normally. I had to sit here and play against 4-2-1-3 spammers all year, and I can't play football until literally 3 months ago. And then I think 6 out of the last 8 weekend leagues, I've got like 15-0 that I finished the weekend league. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that we need these things to play passing football, to finish the football, to have players making runs and not have to spam player lock everywhere. I felt like I spent 6 months this year player locking players, running down the line, and then cutting back and making the most brain-dead 6-yard passes. Now I can ping the ball with pace, play at a certain speed, and I feel like it's just EA. You got to look into that for me and the community, because we want to be able to play with these gold cards and have fun. We don't want it to have this whole stiff experience where nobody can run, they don't make any good passes, they don't shoot the ball with, you know, efficiency, and like, you know, Timo Werner is the prime example. This is a guy that, you know, even in FC24 when they choose playstyles, right? Maybe he doesn't have a ton of good playstyles, but he's the fast playstyles, right? And rolls aren't even a thing, so you don't have to worry about attacking AI, whereas now, it's like you got to think about both. And EA ultimately have made it so pay to win through the whole year, because, you know, I faced some guys in the first weekend leagues that would spend basically exactly what EA wanted them to, right? Spend like literally probably 10,000 bucks on the game. And in the first weekend league, you know, I'm playing against the Golden Mbappe, right? And then, you know, these guys have, you know, advanced forward plus on a guy with quick step at 97 pace, and, you know, 6 playstyles, one of them being a finishing playstyle. And then, you know, they have midfields of Bonmati, and, you know, they have midfields of Bonmati and Putelis, who, look at this, tiki-taka, finesse, tech, you know, some roll pluses, and I can't even compete. You know, EA, because his team, he could be half the player I am, but because his team moves so crazy with all these playstyles and having tiki-taka, it just makes the skill, the gap is crazy between our two teams, because my team doesn't move and his team is moving crazy. Makes him look like a god. So I really am asking EA, just on this video, what I'm ranting about ultimately, and you guys have got it by this point, let me know what you guys think. I'm just saying, looking at FC26, because we're now at the point where the EA employees, the game is probably the game, but they probably can make some baseline tweaks to some stuff. I just pray that you guys can make the floor of the players better, that it doesn't feel like we need it. It doesn't feel like we need tiki-taka on Isak, but it would be more of a benefit. Do you know what I'm saying? Right now, it's a necessity. I don't need advanced 4++, but I do want to work towards it. Right now, it feels like unless we have it, we can't play the game. You hear what I'm saying? So let me know your thoughts, guys. Those are my thoughts. Number one, hopefully EA can make console more responsive and playable.
Yeah, I get what he's trying to say, and I mostly agree with him. You know, his base thought process is beginning of the game shouldn't be a slugfest. Not slugfest, like a slug. Like, it shouldn't be slow. You know, it shouldn't be like just all your players are like kind of unplayable, and that the game doesn't really become fun until like Thunderstruck, when you start getting like, you know, a good bit of like, you know, numerous cards in your squad without, you know, breaking the bank on store packs to freaking, you know, get players. It's a good video, and yeah, I do agree that, you know, the base roles of the players should still be effective. You know, they shouldn't have to have the plus to be, you know, effective. You know, they don't have to be good, but effective is like the key word there. You know, you should still be able to freaking play Isak as a target forward, and he might not be amazing, but he should still be effective. You know, yeah, it's like if plus is a 10 out of 10, and then, you know, having a singular plus is like an 8 out of 10, then not having a plus at all should be like, you know, at least a 7 or a 6. Like, you should still be able to, like, you know, be a usable card regardless of the fact, because you are still a world-class player because you're playing it at a professional level in a major league, you know. So I get the sentiment, I get the thought process, and I do agree, you know, it will make the game overall better. And if, like, you do what I said before, you make it to where you don't see advanced 4++s that often until, like, you know, later into the game cycle. You know, you would also just be able to make these cards be able to just be stretched from just being, you know, 2 weeks of usage. You know, because a lot of times when it comes to these games, you really only have a gold team for like the first like month, and then they already put out a promo like the road to the knockouts, or you know, what, like this year you had, like, what was it, was Track Stars first? I don't remember which promo was first in October, but you had that promo, and it's like, all right, well, now the goals are ideal squad, and the game has been out for a month. Yeah, so do all the things algorithm likes, you know, leave a like, comment, go to the next video, the first link in the description box below. So show him some love as well. Leave him some of your thoughts, so he can copy paste you. Whatever you got to say to me, copy paste it in my comment section to his comment section. Do whatever you want to do. But as if me, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Boy, Mr. Archer. I'll see you guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.